What's up, guys? It's Red Devil Ace, and on this Ace's point of view, I'm going to be talking about uh, a movie called Civil War. Now, on other reviews that I've made in the past, usually I'm really energetic about and really full of pep about the movie that I'm going to talk about, but this is a much different kind of movie, and first of all, I just really want to say that Alex Garland, the director of Civil War, did an absolutely phenomenal job with this film. Uh, the production was incredible. The casting was honestly great. Emotions were absolutely at an all-time high, and just the camera work was absolutely close to perfect. And God, the plot was just absolutely palpable. And just A24 in general, they are amazing at making trailers, but at least they are actually good at at hiding what is going to be in store. And what I mean by that is because very recently we've been getting a lot of new movies, but we get trailers that we can pretty much just guess what the whole movie's about and what's going to happen, and most predictions obviously end correct. And this was a movie I was really looking forward to, but I decided to keep myself away from certain media because for a few personal reasons that I'm gonna go over in this video. And from what I've learned of A24's work in the past, uh, concerning Everything Everywhere All at Once, Midsummer, and The Iron Claw, Civil War was absolutely no exception to that rule. And I tried to keep myself in the dark as much as I could for this movie because just right from the get go, I knew this movie was gonna be incredibly intense, and I was right on that part. And my first initial thought when I was going into that movie theater, I thought, oh, this was gonna follow a certain team of characters between a civil war in between Texas and California. Now, I kind of feel stupid for saying that because in the promotional poster that they have on the walls at the theater I went to, it showed a picture of the torch on the Statue of Liberty filled with snipers. And at first glance, my first theory was just absolutely dead. And watching the movie made the theory sink even deeper. And yeah, just right from the get go, this movie had zero patience in getting people prepared for what was about to happen. I mean, just from the beginning to all the way to the climax and into its conclusion, it's fucked. Like, I'm not even gonna try to sugarcoat it. It's honestly heart wrenching. Like this, and don't get me wrong, this was a phenomenal film, but this film made me feel emotions that I have not felt towards a movie in a really, really long time. Like, I thought this was gonna be like a high action movie because I'm, looking at the movies that's been releasing around the same time frame. Okay, there's gonna be like a lot of gunfire, of course, and some characters might get axed off. That like your typical action movie stuff. But this is a movie that pulled some strings on me. And what I mean by that is that I've seen millions of movies where they have rapid gunfire and just people getting shot all over the place. Every single soul gunshot made me just jump back into my seat every single time. And just the world that they built in this movie is just absolutely terrifying. And it's because it's kind of touching a bit too close to home because I feel like it's kind of referencing some of the problems that is going on in real life when it comes to diversity and when it comes to just political views in general. And I'm gonna try not to spoil much, but I mean you can pretty much just tell if you watch the other promotional trailers that this is gonna be an all country civil war, and yeah, there has been so many times where I just really wanted to walk out because I could not take any more of the movie in. Like it follows these photojournalists across some different parts of the U.S., but mostly on the East Coast, and as many people have guessed, that the climax happens in Washington D.C. Now, again, like I said, this hits really close to home for me because of the problem that's been going on in real life. Like, for instance, political views has been skewered for a really long time. Gun laws have not been placed yet, and gun violence is a really big problem right now, and it's made it worse that I'm an East Coast boy, and they pass some through a few states I'm actually familiar with, and just the sight of having a landscape that I'm familiar with being front and center in this movie just completely tore out my heart, man. And for a movie this intense, I was it was so easy to just feel what the characters are feeling themselves. I mean, usually when something like this happens in real life, everyone is screaming, everyone is running for the hills, everyone is terrified of who to trust, and just the overall emotional landscape of this movie, I just kept having butterflies in my stomach, my heart sank to my ass. I'm just surprised that any normal human being can have a smile on their face and can feel normal in a world like this. Like, that's just absolutely mind-boggling to me. And jeez, there has been so many moments with these characters that you just feel for them. You absolutely do. Like, emotions change, goals become skewered, and realization starts hitting so many times. And I really want to say that around the middle around the middle of the movie, when the when our main leads run into certain type of characters doing something absolutely heinous, and they get stuck, and I this just triggered me from 0 to 1,000%. Like, I was not in a good headspace, and just these characters themselves, like the acting was absolutely incredible, and it was so realistic the way these people were depicted in a world like this. I mean, I like society right now is going absolutely out of left field, and this movie capitalizes on that. And these characters were honestly both terrifying, and you just wanted to just throw your chair straight into the screen. And an event happens, I'm not going to say what, and I don't ever I don't even remember the last time I've said thank you to the top of my lungs about what happens to the certain characters that stopped our leads. Like, and it was honestly one of the very first times I even remember crying in an American film. Like, I've shed so many tears for anime films, for anime shows, for K dramas, but Jesus Christ. Like the movie that cuz I sometimes like to compare movies to others, and I know it's kind of a dumb thing to do, but God, the movie that came to mind was a movie from I think around 2006 called Innocent Voices. And if anyone in watching this speaks Spanish, you know what movie I'm talking about, because this movie Innocent Voices scarred me for life from just the absolute realism that that movie showed, and this movie comes in at a really close second. And I sometimes like to think that this movie is also like some sort of warning that, if people don't open their eyes and wise the fuck up, maybe this movie might end up being a reality. And that's what's making this even more crazy, because usually people watch movies to get away from reality, but this just throws you into this world. And in a real life scenario, oh Jesus Christ, in a real life scenario, so this would have been absolutely horrific to live in. And one thing I want to say really quickly, I now have a newfound respect for war photojournalists, because you need to have nerves of tungsten steel to go into war zones as a job. Like, Jesus Christ. And the moment I walked out of that movie theater, I was just absolutely jaded. Like, there's only a certain few movies that makes you feel the way I felt after watching Civil War. I mean, it's like that feeling that you're conscious that you're walking, but you can't feel your own feet. It was a really windy day, and I honestly couldn't even feel the wind blowing in my face. Like, my hair was getting into my eyes, and I honestly could not even feel it. The only things that were running through my head were just some of the scenes that were the most intense. And yeah, this man, I don't even know what else to say about this movie other than it was a masterpiece of a film. Honestly, like, if there's anybody watching this by the time this gets uploaded, please watch this movie as soon as you can. I honestly could not recommend it enough. Like, it might as well goes up there. It might as well go up there with one of my most favorite movies of all time. And this is going up there. Like, currently my favorite movie is Real Steel, and this is like almost to that type of level, like close to John Wick Chapter 4 and other movies of that of that mind frame. But yeah, the overall rating the overall rating I want to give this movie is a solid 9 out of 10. Like, any movie that gets you to feel any sort of strong emotion towards a specific character, you are doing something absolutely right. And this film knew exactly who to antagonize and knew exactly who the good guys are. And as soon as it's like your mind frame is like a giant open space, and as the movie progresses on, your mind frame just slowly gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and you will only understand it. You'll only understand everything once you reach the absolute climax of this film. Like, this movie plays games with you, and yeah, I'm I'm honestly considering like rewatching this movie again. And I just remember on the bus ride home after watching this, and this didn't even help that I even binged the entire Fallout Amazon series. Phenomenal show, by the way. I was just leaning my head towards the glass, and I was just expecting to see an explosion or waiting to hear gunfire go off. Like, it was absolutely crazy. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to say for this Ace's point of view. Again, um, uh, Alex Garland did a fantastic job, and I honestly cannot wait to see what he comes up with next. And A24 again, phenomenal storyteller, is absolutely phenomenal, and hopefully, maybe in the future, or this probably might not happen, maybe in the near future, I can work with them in any sort of way, because this sort of storytelling style is something I definitely want to divulge into. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this Ace's point of view, please leave a like, share, and subscribe. Share with all your friends and family. Each one really counts. It always makes my day. And I'll try to record another Ace's point of view after this one, because at first I planned to do the first Ace's point of view I wanted to do was Monkey Man, but I realized, Civil War is gonna be opening today, so I'll might as well try to catch that while interest is still up. So yeah, that's why I had to do this one first, because this one made me feel a really unique emotion, and I wanted to do as soon as I could so I can say everything clearly. But I guess that's pretty much all I have to say. So until next time, like I always say, keep the blood boiling and the heart pumping. My name is Red Devil Ace, and I'll see you all next time.